Hey, tell me if this isn't you. You found out about Super Mario Bros. Remastered, you get excited about all the games included, the challenges, and then notice it as a level editor.
Awesome! I can make Super Mario Bros. Levels of my own! This is gonna be so cool!
And then you open the editor, you see all these menus, and when you try to use it, it feels kind of overwhelming, and perhaps a bit clunky. This is what I've been hearing from a lot of people, and after using the editor for the past few weeks myself, I do understand where they're coming from. To tell you the truth, once you spend enough time and understand the foundations, it's really not a big deal. And this is precisely what this video is for, to show you how to use a level editor in Super Mario Bros. Remastered so you can create some awesome levels with it. Without further ado, let's get to it and start from the beginning. Like I have shown in my last video, to access the level editor, you go to Play Game and then select Custom Levels. In the middle of this screen, you will see a list of levels you have created and levels you have downloaded from Level Share Square. We can see that each of these levels has a different sort of color tag. We'll get to this later. I want to remind you how to create a level in this game. Select this new button here and presto! From what we can observe, you can see that pressing E opens the menu and that there is a total of 5 layers to work with, be it for tiles, pipes, enemies, blocks, items, everything! You are able to place anything under each of these layers. So first things first, the basics. You move around your level with WASD keys, but if you want to do this a lot faster, you can hold left shift and then press either WASD keys to zip across the entire level. To select the element you wish to place in your level, press E to access the menu and then left-click your desired element. Press E again to close the menu and then left-click to place your element. You can hold left-click and drag the mouse to instantly place multiple copies of anything. Holding the control key and holding left-click will let you use the editor's shape tool, which will help you fill in empty spaces a lot faster, therefore saving you time. To delete anything, you press right-click on your mouse. And you can delete multiple things in the same fashion, dragging the cursor while holding right-click to delete parts quickly, as well as holding control and right-click, allowing you to use the shape tool to delete stuff a lot quicker. You can find the controls for these actions when you hit E again and then click on the question mark icon, as well as the keys for moving the player. This means changing the starting position in your level. It tells us to hold shift while pressing the middle mouse button. This indeed works, but I have been told by a lot of users that they use laptops and only have the trackpad instead of a mouse. That is indeed a pickle. What the editor doesn't tell us is that we can also change the starting position by simply pressing the M key. You choose the place where you're going to place Mario and then press M. Other actions here that use the middle mouse button and the scroll wheel are Change Tile and Pick Tile. With a mouse, this is okay, but kind of awkward still. But you don't need to use a mouse for these actions at all. Simply press either R or T keys while having the cursor on your level for these actions. A small window appears, and in this window, you can navigate and slide through not just every tile, but every placeable part in the editor. Pressing R moves through the small menu to the left, while pressing T moves to the right. Holding Shift and left-clicking will let you inspect a tile. You will know when you're doing it right when you see a little magnifying glass icon. This only works for a few select parts, mostly objects. And what this really does is open a menu where you change the properties and behavior of these certain level parts, which we will learn about up ahead, later into the video. As I have shown you back there, holding Control while left-clicking places area, holding Control while right-clicking removes an area. Let's talk about the layers now. In the keybind screen, you see that we should be able to switch and cycle between layers by either pressing the page up and page down keys, which is true. Most keyboards have these two keys, though there may be some of you with a keyboard that does not have either key. If you're one of these people, I have good news for you. You can also switch between layers by holding the control button and then pressing either up or down arrow keys. The editor sets layer 1 as the default layer, and it always stays in front of the other layers, with layer 5 staying behind all of them. So yeah, the layer order from front to back is layer 1, then layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and then finally layer 5. Again, you are able to place any level part in all 5 layers. Remember that. Now, let me show you what the menu has to offer. We have the parts page, divided in 6 sections: tiles, pipes, enemies, blocks, objects, and lastly, items. You have probably already noticed that some bits in the parts menu have this tiny plus icon in the corner, and some of them have this little something that looks like a grid in the corner. The plus icon indicates that this part has one or more variants to it. In the case of tiles, it shows all the angles, sides, or colors of the selected tile, and you can cycle through the available variants by hovering the cursor on the tile with the plus icon you want to access, and then scroll up and down to switch up the variants. If you scroll outside of a part with this plus icon, you'll just end up scrolling through the parts page. Just a heads up. The bits that have this grid thing icon indicates that this part has auto-tiling, which is a really good thing, and should be a standard feature in every Mario level editor, or any level making game or engine in general. Here's what auto-tiling means. It's a system that automatically applies appropriate tiles to a level map, and based on the defined angles and edges for how the tiles connect to each other, thus resulting in faster and more efficient level making. This feature is clearly seen in Super Mario Maker 2, for example. Right now, the only parts with auto-tiling in Super Mario Bros Remastered's Level Editor are the ground tile, semi-solids, treetops and bases, mushroom gorges, and if you scroll down just a bit, conveyors and on and off conveyor belts. Over on the objects section. With these extra little icons covered, let me give you a quick overview of each section in the parts page. Tile section has your common structures for your level, such as solids, semi-solids, liquids, and the bullet bill blaster. Yes, the bullet bill blaster, because in this editor, just placing the blaster alone isn't enough for it to shoot bullet bills, as this is set up manually. I don't want to go off track too much here, so we'll get back to this situation later in the video. Moving on, below tiles, we have the pipes section, which has all the necessary parts to build your pipes, available in these 4 colors: green, yellow, blue, and red. Starting from the left, we have vertical pipe tops, both up and down facing pipes, then we have horizontal pipe tops. This single column has the horizontal pipe body, this next column has the vertical pipe body, and these last two have the parts that allow you to connect horizontal with vertical pipe bodies, like the pipes you see just before entering level 1-2, for example. Now, I have to be completely honest here. There have been many comments regarding how clunky it feels to place pipes, and I have to agree. Pipes are by far the most confusing part to use in Super Mario Bros Remastered's Level Editor. Even so, I found a way that makes this process a little bit more bearable, which goes like this. Watch the arrows carefully first. This arrow tells us the direction and angle the pipe part is facing. If you're using a mouse, you can go and select your desired part, and once you place it in the level, you can go back to the menu and scroll up or down to get the corresponding half of the pipe part you have selected. Let me draw this out for you. Say you want to place a pipe top facing upwards. For this, you would have to select the very first pipe tile on the left, and then get the other half by scrolling up or down, while hovering the cursor on the pipe inside the menu. The same can be done for the rest of the pipe parts. For all of you who don't have a mouse, you can press either R or T keys to summon the part window, which has the corresponding halves right next to each other. Time to explore every enemy that Super Mario Bros. Remastered's Level Editor has to offer, with 6 of them having the little plus icon, which means these have 1 or more variants. First off, we have Goomba and its cousin Goombrat, that doesn't fall off ledges. Next up, we have Koopa and Parakoopa, both in green and red. Green Hori Parakoopas will fly horizontally, with their flying range displayed by this dashed line. The green Koopa has 1 extra variant when compared to the red Koopa, which is called the green Parakoopa, which is basically the jumping Parakoopa. The red Parakoopa flies vertically, as revealed by our trusty dashed line. And then we have Piranha Plants. The difference between the red and green variants is that the red one will pop out a lot faster than the green one, and you place them in a pipe like this. If you want to be extra evil, you can also make them come out of pipes like this, but you will have to place Piranha Plant in any layer that's behind the pipe's own layer. Next up are the Buzzy Beetles, Spinies, and then Cheep Cheeps, in green and red once again. The difference here is that the red Cheep Cheeps swim faster. This is the first enemy on the menu which we can customize by inspecting the part. Again, this is done by holding left shift while clicking on the Cheep Cheep in this case. And here, we can change the movement type to straight, wavy, or random. Once you're done setting your desired behavior, you can close the inspect tile window by pressing either the escape key or E key. Moving on from Cheep Cheeps, we have bloopers, which can be placed inside water and on thin air, Hammer Bros, and of course, big ol' Bowser. The King of Koopas here has 2 means of attack, throwing hammers and spitting fire. We can clearly see this when we place him on our level, and then left shift while left clicking on him. If you wish, you can have him use both attacks simultaneously. Another non-SMB1 enemy coming up, Pokies. Shift and left clicking it will let you set how tall you want it to be, from just 1 cactus to 10 cacti. Next up, Lucky 2. However, in this level editor, you can make it throw things other than Spinies. When you left shift and click it, you are able to make him throw any of the highlighted parts in the menu, from different enemies and even superstars if you're feeling like Santa Claus. Or you can make him throw Bowsers if you're more of a Grinch kind of person. And after Lucky 2, we got Bullet Bills and Potoboo. Here's how you place one of these guys. Instead of having them just above the lava or any space you want to make them jump out of, place them where they reach their max jump height. Say you want Podoboo to jump 5 tiles above the lava. For this, you place Podoboo 5 tiles above the lava, like so. Then we have Boo! You can place him just like this, and it will chase you like it normally does. But if you select its other variant, you get Boo Buddies, which is essentially the Boo Clock from Super Mario World. And you can customize it. Shift and left clicking it will let you set the length, which is the distance to the center, direction to clockwise or counterclockwise, and the amount of boos in the circle. When you enable the Spread Boost option, the game will readjust each boost position evenly around the circle. Next up, we have Munchers, Spikes, which you can have standing still or move about the level. Then we have Dry Bones, Monty Moles, the Thwomp, and Bob-Bombs, both regular and lit Bob-Bombs. Ooh, what are these 4 enemies here? Well, my friend, they are the Sidestepper and Fighterfly, originally from the Mario Bros arcade game from 1983 and were present in Super Mario Bros Special. However, these are not customizable and, as you can clearly see, no plus icon, meaning no variants. The last 2 enemies are the Rolling Barrels from the classic Donkey Kong arcade and the Rocky Wrench from Super Mario Bros 3. Okay, we move on to a new section, Blocks. The first 4 blocks are the classic question block, brick block, flip block or turn block as the game calls it, and of course the invisible question block. You are able to customize any of these 4 blocks by shift and then left clicking on them, like having it spawn coins, items, and even enemies. Anything that's highlighted in the menu, pretty much. You can also set the amount of the selected part that's going to come out, and checking the mushroom if small option enables progressive power-ups. What's that, you may ask? It's when the level detects if you're small Mario or not, and if you are, no matter if you stuff a fire flower inside any of these 4 blocks, it will give you a mushroom regardless, which is exactly how the power-up system works in the original Super Mario Bros. Games. Though you can always leave this unchecked if you feel like your level will be challenging, or just for the sake of it if you so wish. Right here we have the springboard, or trampoline, with 2 variants, red and green. The difference between them is you jump so much higher with the green trampoline when compared to the red one. Next up, the on and off block. The second variant to it is the timed on and off block, and it will always have a switching interval of 3 seconds. Appropriately placed next to these are the blue and red on and off blocks. Then we have the spring block and super spring block. These are basically the nerfed versions of the green and red trampolines, with the regular spring block bouncing you the least, and the super spring block bouncing you higher than the former. The P-switch block. On and off variants, which switch states whenever a P-switch is in effect. Yes, now you know that Super Mario Bros. Remastered has the P-switch. Moving to note blocks and music blocks. Both have the same bounce strength. However, the note block can grant you an item, in the same way as the question block, turn block, break block, and invisible blocks. However, the music block has a huge difference. Instead of giving you an item, you can make it play an actual note, from a vast range of musical instruments to giving you the possibility of choosing a note and octave for each music block. This means that you will be able to make fully functional music levels in Super Mario Bros. Remastered. This right here is the on and off spikes, enabled or disabled whether you hit the on and off block, the spike block, the trick block, which can be useful for trolling setups, the death block, and the donut block. Let's talk about these 3 metallic things. The first 2 are fans, which, like in real life, generate hair currents. Both the silver and on and off fans have 4 directions, left, right, up and down, and are able to blow currents in 4 different speeds, as displayed in the strength option. As you may have guessed, the blue fan is a turned off state, while the red fan is when the fan is turned on, depending on an on and off block. At last, we have burners from Super Mario Bros. 3, which also have 4 directions, same as the fans, left, right, up and down. That's another section knocked off the list, so let's move on to objects. We start off here with the fire bar, which can be placed above any block. Granted, that block is placed in a layer beneath the fire bar. Once again, holding shift and left clicking allows you to set the length, starting angle, and have it rotate either clockwise or counterclockwise. Next up, we have the P-switch. Next up, the checkpoint. You can technically place multiple checkpoints in the same map, but the level will only recognize the checkpoints as it only reads 1 checkpoint per level map as of now. And then, the Bill Cannon. Mind you that this is the object that will allow your bullet bill blasters, which are tiles when you remember, to actually summon bullet bills. And as long as this object is placed in a different layer, bullet bills will shoot. And they aren't the only enemy or entity that can come out of the bullet bill cannon, as you can make it shoot any of the highlighted items here. Then we have pipe warps. I would love to explain how this object works right now, but there's something extremely important in the level settings that you absolutely must understand first before we explore warps. So we will come back to both pipe and door warps later into the video. So we move on to pipe generators. All you have to do to make this object work properly is to place it like this, under a layer beneath the pipe. You can have its generator spawn any of the highlighted parts and have it pointed in 4 different directions. Then we have our first level clear object, the almighty flagpole. Keep in mind that wherever you click is where you place the base of the flagpole. Right next to it, and rightfully so, the end castle, both big and small versions. No matter how far or close you place it, the character will always head straight to it, even when you place enemies in the way. Then we observe that we have a variety of platforms to choose from, vertical and horizontal moving platforms, on and off platforms, and falling platforms. Honestly, it's better to access them by selecting either one of them from the menu and then click R or T to choose your desired platform. They can be big or small, and the ones with movement will always have the trajectory displayed by dashed lines. Now we move on to the last 2 parts with auto-tiling. Conveyor belts. There's the regular ones and on and off conveyors. The main difference here is that you have to manually select different directions for the regular conveyors, and the on and off conveyors automatically change directions whenever an on and off block is hit. A big plus here, you don't have to worry about making tiling mistakes with both conveyors thanks to auto-tiling. Like this. This cute little camera thingy is a scroll stopper, and it does exactly what it says. When you place it in your level, it draws this line where your level stops scrolling. This is especially useful if you want to design bonus zones. Next up is the iconic castle bridge, our second level clear object. So you place it where you want the last bridge tile to be. And if you hold shift and left click this exact tile, you are able to change the bridge size to a minimum length of 8 and a max length of 20 tiles. Touching the axe destroys the bridge, though even if you place Bowser or any enemy on this bridge, what will really clear levels made in Super Mario Bros Remastered is the axe itself. It won't care if you manage to kill any enemy without you touching the axe, even if you manage to kill Bowser before touching the axe. Then we have NPCs, which are Toad and Princess Peach. You can place either NPC anywhere in your level, but they don't have any dialogue blocks of their own and are not customizable. Toad does have several colors, but they come at random. You have to be lucky to have Toad in the color that you really want. Next up is perhaps one of the most exciting features of this level editor, tracks. With this object, you can build your own riding platforms for your level. It works in a similar way as tracks from Super Mario Maker 2. You grab it from the menu and you place it where you want it to start. Then you hold shift and left click to draw your desired path by clicking Edit. From here, you have the power of expanding your track in 8 directions, as displayed by these green nodes. When these nodes are green, it tells you that you can expand the path into that direction. Otherwise, the node will be red, meaning that you will only shrink the path if you go towards that red node. If you're wondering, yes, you can draw loops in the middle of your paths. I'm aware that there are more options in the track's customization menu, but we'll get back to them after I show you what the track rider is for and what you can attach to the track itself. So the track rider is what's going to keep your added part firmly attached to the track. So you need this object to make your tracks actually carry something. And there's something else you also need to know before using it. The track rider must be placed in a different layer than the moving parts. Okay, now that we have acquired this information, what can you attach to the track riders? Surprisingly, it's not any of the moving platforms here, but a few select blocks in the blocks section. Usable blocks for track riders are question blocks, brick blocks, turn blocks, spring and super spring blocks, note and music blocks, fans and on and off fans, and burners. Now that you know this, let's see what we can change when we customize track riders, which is speed from 1 to 8, and direction, forwards and backwards. As I promised, let's resume our exploration of the track's customization menu. So we already took a look at what path does, but we are also able to make both start and end points of our path open or closed. By default, they're closed, keeping our blocks moving around constantly inside our track forever. But if any of our points are open, our blocks will simply fly off the track and skedaddle, never to be seen again. Alright, and if you check the invisible option, you can make your blocks move like train blocks, as seen in titles like Super Mario World and New Super Mario Bros. Seriously, even just messing around with tracks here is so much fun. Whew, that's what I call a mouthful, but it was worth it. I just had to share this with you and show you how it's done. Moving on to text labels. This object is your only means of having text displayed in your level. Though you can have multiple lines of text in a single label, if your lines get a little long, they become harder to read, forcing the player to move further just to see what it says, and try to have your text short and sweet. And now, generators! You can have these spawn bullet bills, jumping cheap cheeps, and flames. But that's not all. You can also use two extra variants. The wind generator, which you can customize by changing the wind force and direction from left to right, and the gravity inverter. Yes, you heard that right. This editor has an object that turns you upside down. Just like the other generator variants, you can also disable the inverted gravity with one of these, the generator stopper, because the gravity inverter is also considered a generator. And this thingy is the moon gravity object, which, as the name implies, decreases the gravity in your level and you jump higher and take longer to reach the ground. Unlike the gravity inverter, this cannot be disabled with the generator stopper. Once the moon gravity is placed, it's in full effect. That is, unless you remove the object, of course. Okay, this is the rope elevator. The very same balance-like platforms you see in most athletic levels in the original Super Mario Bros. Let's place it on our level and let me show you what you can customize. Width, which is the distance between the two platforms, and then the Y position of each platform. And this little thingy is the cannon. Like the bullet bill cannon, you can make it shoot out a multitude of things, again, highlighted on the menu. Except with this cannon, you can rotate the head 45 degrees as you slide through this bar and rotate the cannon stand 90 degrees on this one. The icicle is essentially a falling spike. Stand close to it and it will fall immediately. Right, the bumpers also found their way to Super Mario Bros Remastered's editor. Fun fact, you can also attach these to tracks and have them moving. Lastly, door warps. Like I said when I mentioned pipe warps, I want to show you something in the level settings screen that is vital to know and understand before using warps. Though I can show you every door variant here, which are the P door and the locked door, that will obviously require a key to open. With that said, let's check out the last section, the items page. This section is essentially dedicated to power-ups and coins. The first one we find is the mushroom, which has its poison and one-up siblings. Then we have the good old fire flower, the normal coin, the P coin, which only appears when a P switch is pressed, and the superstar. Now we move on to unfamiliar sights. Most of the upcoming power-ups come from Super Mario Bros. Special. In order, we have the clock, which adds 100 extra seconds to the timer when collected, the hammer from the original Donkey Kong arcade game that lets you smash any oncoming enemy, including barrels, the wing, which allows you to temporarily move around the level as if you were swimming in air, and this little thingy with the Hudson Soft logo is the Hachizuki. When you collect it, you get 8,000 points. The second to last item in the menu is the Lucky Star, which acts like a POW block. When you get it, it wipes out every enemy on the screen. And finally, we have the key. It has the sole purpose of opening locked doors. Simply grab it and it will follow you everywhere. About time we explore the level settings page. And the first thing I want to address here is Current Room. This lists all the maps inside your level. You have up to 5 maps per level. And as if it isn't clear enough, the maps here are called rooms, numbered from 0 to 4. You can't add any more maps as of now. And by default, the editor always sets the current room at room 0 whenever we create a new level. I'm showing you this first because we will need to know which rooms we are working with when it comes to warps. Speaking of warps, this is the part where I fulfill my promise to you, showing you how warps work. As we have already seen, you can have both pipe warps and door warps. Let's see the pipe warps first. For these, I recommend that you place your pipes first, then grab the pipe area object in this page and place it right next to your pipe to create the entrance warp. For the destination or exit warp, go to your desired room, which you do by heading to the level settings page, and then place the pipe area on the destination pipe. Again, right next to it. Now, there are 3 little extra steps to make this pipe actually connect with the entrance warp that we created back in the first map. First, we go back there to check the pipe ID we have given the entrance pipe. That ID must match the pipe ID in the destination warp. So if the ID on the entrance pipe is 0, the destination pipe must also have 0 in the pipe ID. The second step is making sure the object targets the correct destination map with the target sub-level option. Sub-level here means room, level map if you will. In this case, since the second map is room 1, we have to make sure both warps have the target sub-level option set to 1. And then, the third and final step here is exclusively for destination warps, which is to check the exit only option. This will let the pipe area object know that its job is to bring the player into the second map. but be careful, as this option will cause the warp to point towards the opposite direction. So make sure that you actually invert the direction in the direction option so the player warps out in the right way. Door warps work pretty much the same way, except we don't have to worry about directions and the exit only option ordeal. Here, you just have to make sure that the door warps, both entrances and exits, have matching door IDs and that are targeting the correct destination maps. And if you're wondering, you can have a max amount of 100 pipe IDs and 100 door IDs in your level, as the range goes from 0 to 99. Okay, if you still don't understand completely how you place warps in Super Mario Bros Remastered, you're more than welcome to pause the video and rewatch this chapter, as there are quite a few steps involved and a few extra stuff to check out. With that said, let's move on and see what else lies in the level settings menu. For each level map, you can choose one out of 19 themes: Overworld, Underground, Desert, Snow, Jungle, Beach, Garden, Mountain, Skyland, Autumn, Pipeland, Space, Underwater, Volcano, Ghost House, Castle, Castle Water, Airship, and Bonus. Changing the theme in one map will alter the tiles you can use in the parts menu, meaning that you are restricted to one theme per map, so mixing tiles from different themes in one map is not possible, I'm afraid. Time of day allows you to have your level set at daytime or nighttime. You have a total of 23 music tracks to choose from. Simply pick this window and choose the music you want. Campaign will make some visual changes in certain tiles, objects, and items in your level. There are 3 of them: SMB1, SMBLL, and SMBS. The most notable difference can be seen when you switch the campaign to SMBLL, the Lost Levels. You can see that all tiles, no matter which team you pick, are different, but between SMB1 and SMBS, there are only a few very minor changes. For example, in SMBS, the Superstar has a little smile, the conveyor belts have a slightly different design, and let's see, the underwater coral tiles look a tiny bit different. That's about it, really. This is why you will sometimes see a different campaign tag in each level that you either create or download from the portal, because the user selected a different campaign. Another side note is that you can have each level map have its own campaign. Next up, we have Backscroll. Checking this option will let the player go back in your level. Disabling this option prevents that from happening. Perfect for any sadistic need you might have. Next up, Height Limit. Yes, you can add white space to your custom level, even though in story mode there isn't any level with additional height. You have a max height limit of 480 pixels and a minimum of 208. However, to see any difference in extra height, you will need to add at least around 50 pixels in order to see any noticeable change in height. Any less than that, you only barely see any difference. And then Time Limit. This is pretty straightforward. Simply change how long you want your timer to be. Minimum amount is 10, and the max is 999. And that's it for level settings, which brings us to the background page. Okay, the first and second layer options are the foregrounds available, and as you're seeing here, it is adding different foregrounds to the level. Yes, even if you don't have the overworld theme selected, it still says hills, bush, mushrooms, and trees, but each of these terms will add a completely different foreground, depending on the theme you have chosen for your level. For example, when the airship theme is selected, you get these little extra airships in the distance, and the castle theme can add these sick-looking pillars and arches. Now, this other second layer option, below, simply lets you switch the order of each foreground selected. More specifically, it places whatever it's selected in this second layer option in front or behind the foreground selected in the first layer. In the second layer offset, you change the Y offset of the foreground in the second layer in pixels. The foreground here will move up if the value here is changed. Particles! Think of this option as a way to add an overlay effect to your level. As of now, there are 3 particles: snow, leaves, and amber. And liquid lets you add another kind of overlay to your level, namely on the bottom part. This can be water, lava, or poison. Hold it right there. This is not the same as the water, lava, or poison tiles. If the player tries to touch this liquid, they will just fall through it, and into the endless abyss they go. Lastly, we have Overlay Clouds. This is a very simple option that adds a few scrolling translucent clouds as another overlay for your level. sort of acting like fog. Alright, so we have now taken a look at parts, level settings, background, and keybind pages. Only 2 pages left. This down arrow icon is where you save your level, give it the name, the author, which should be you, description, and difficulty, from 1 to 5. The open door icon on the right makes you exit the editor and asks you if you want to save your level before sending you back to the level list. And now we have our masterpiece of a level right here. If we head down and select it, we can either play it, open it in the editor, or wipe it out of existence. Which is how I was about to do actually, but I want to do it with extra steps. Why would I do that, you ask? So I could show you what the open folder and refresh list buttons are for. So let's select open folder and it opens the actual folder where your level is saved. As you can see, your created levels are going to be right here. The downloaded folder is for the levels you get from Level Share Square. This level folder is by default located in your roaming folder if you're using Windows. Now watch this, I'm going to delete this level directly from inside the folder. And if we go back to Super Mario Bros. 1 Remastered and hit refresh list, the game scans for the folder once more and won't detect the level. That's if the level folder is empty or if the game somehow can't recognize the level file. This is the right time to say that you have seen what you can do in this editor. In my opinion, although it has some pretty cool features, there's still room for improvement, mainly in the user-friendly department. Though the most important thing to know in this game is that Super Mario Bros. Remastered was made with all the versions, challenges, and speedruns as the main focus, while the level editor is a bonus addition to complement such a robust collection of games in here. My point here is, you should always keep in mind that Super Mario Bros. Remastered was designed to be a Super Mario Bros. Remake first, and a level editor second. Of course, this doesn't mean that the level editor won't get any changes or updates in the future, seeing that there's plenty potential for quality of life additions, perhaps some more customization. Who knows? Nevertheless, I still wanted to make this video to show you the ropes and how to use the editor as it is right now. Do you agree? Let me know what you think about the editor in the comments. I gave my all to help you in the best way possible, explaining what everything in the editor does, so you can create some absolute bangers with this game. But should you still have any question, you're always welcome to drop it in the comments as well, and I'll do my best to answer you. After this tutorial, I'm gonna work on some more guides, such as how to make a custom character for Super Mario Bros. Remastered and how to import it to the game. To stay tuned for those, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It's free, it always helps me out, and it will be easier for you to be notified when these tutorials are out, and being, in turn, much quicker to find them. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Peace.